Hey everyone, I've had plans to upload something long form a couple of times over the past few weeks, and YouTube has not allowed me to fucking upload shit except for those video game shit you saw me upload, because apparently I can upload from my fucking PlayStation just fine, but not from my phone. So I thought I'd try something short and sweet. Those who would give up their freedom for safety deserve neither. Benjamin Franklin. Look, ultimately, you need to realize two things. Number one, the quote unquote deaths from the virus are massively over-reported. People who have gotten everything from deaths from cancer to immunodeficiency to fucking being hit by cars, they're tested positive post-mortem for COVID-19, died of coronavirus. We got presumed deaths from coronavirus, people who could have died from fucking anything from hepatitis to tuberculosis in New York, being added to the death toll. It's inflated. Okay? Less than 1%. The death rate is, of course, higher with old people, people with cancer, immunodeficiencies like AIDS, massive heart disease. Other than that, you're not going to die. The amount of people that nobody would have expected to test positive for this disease, or at least being tested as positive for antibodies for coronavirus, is coming up. So really, there is a lot of speculation that this outbreak happened in November of last year, and that there were already spread of this virus in California and New York in late last year, which is likely the case. Look, you are not going to die. Businesses do need to reopen. Millions upon millions upon millions of Americans are applying for unemployment. The economy is being destroyed. There's a bunch of businesses that can't just open back up. Are you aware of any businesses that can just sit there without selling anything for months on end and just go back to normal? You know, even if they laid off all their workforce, the amount of businesses that have a small ass profit margin, like say restaurants, they can't just fucking reopen. You know, it's fucking it can be pretty much fucking over once you just shut everything fucking down. This is going to be a worse recession than 2008 by a lot, and 2008 was very, very bad. And the reason why is because, yeah, look, Democrat shitholes with massive population density like New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco and Baltimore and Detroit, yeah, maybe they should shut down. Okay? You know, even where I am in South Florida, high population density, I can understand maybe an extended shutdown. There are people out here sending the cops after families walking their dog in the park in bumfuck nowhere, Montana. Okay? That needs to stop pretty much fucking immediately. You just wouldn't believe the decadent society we must have, that the people thirst for the boot on their neck. They not only want to crash the economy, but they want to punish severely anybody who protests or even just ignores your ridiculous fucking shutdown orders. And for what? For what? Fear of a disease that kills basically nobody. Thousands and thousands have died. Yeah, there's 300 million people in this country. Those thousands and thousands are in New York, New Jersey, and New Orleans. Okay, places with massive population density. And how many of those deaths are the elderly? Almost all of them. So, at some point, you have to ask, what is the worst cost? Some people like me can afford to stay home. Some people like me can work from home. Okay, some people can't. Pretty much most people can't. This can't go on this way. It's not an option. And all the people are saying, well, staying home is better than dying. You are not going to die. The people who told you you were going to die lied to you. You were lied to. But what has the media ever done for the past 10 years, especially the last 5, but lie to you? Constantly. I've been trying to tell you that forever. And I've been trying to tell you that these people want to fuck you over every which way they can. And they are. They're doing it right now. And every time I think I've seen the extent of the fuckery that can go on from authoritarians on the left, and there's even a lot of right-wing people going right along with this shit. And when people are protesting, they're saying, "Oh, you're a terrorist," especially if you bring a firearm, which you can do. You know, for your own personal protection, you have the right to bear arms. You have the right to freedom of assembly. Guess what? The government is not constitutionally allowed to shut down churches. The government is not constitutionally allowed to shut down protests. The government is not constitutionally allowed to tell you that you can't open carry a firearm in a public space. They literally fucking can't do it. They can't do it. The only people who can tell you can have a firearm on the premises is private property. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. And you got these people coming on MSNBC saying like, "Oh, you're a Nazi, you're a terrorist, you're a white supremacist, you're a fucking alt-righter. You want everybody to die because what? Because you're protesting the government basically eliminating your paycheck, eliminating your place of work, eliminating your livelihood, fucking destroying your life." And you think, out of all the things that you would think, oh, maybe people shouldn't protest that, chief on your list is the complete fucking destruction of this country. You think that, and I mean the literal fucking destruction of this country. You have people who are saying like, oh, nobody can have any of these businesses open if they're non-essential services. Meanwhile, what do most governments consider essential services? Using a bulldozer to literally plow multiple dozens of tons of sand into a skate park to prevent a handful of skaters from using the park during the shutdown. Buying, of course, weed, alcohol, and lotto tickets, the kind of shit that the government taxes at, 20, 30%. Oh, those are essential. Those are absolutely essential. The public must be drunk, high, and of course buying metric fuck tons of lottery tickets that they will never ever win on. It's a scam, people. If you buy lottery tickets, you're a fucking dumbass. Stop doing it. Gambling. I mean, goddamn, if casinos were legal, you better believe they're probably not getting shut down. Has anybody asked Las Vegas if they shut down the fucking casinos? I doubt it. So fucking ladies and gentlemen, this is completely batshit insane, and it needs to stop. And what's most of all needs to stop is these leftists who will call you a Nazi white supremacist. All it takes is some person, whether they're a plant or whether they're real deal, all it takes is one guy with a Confederate flag and a protest of thousands of people in Michigan, and all of a sudden the entire protest is Nazis. Blow it out your fucking ass. All progressives ever do is lie. 100% of the time, no exceptions. Anything a progressive ever says about any subject is a lie. That is a fucking law of the universe. Okay? Prove me wrong.